Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is you are in the world, and welcome to another edition of the Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York. Actually, it's Big Apple Ragedown, never mind. Our scene tonight centers in the area of Manhattan known as Harlem, in the loft apartment of one Cammy Haveru. Um, the Glasswalker Therge, this fostering of the nation, currently a bit numb with recent developments and whatnot. She has made some important life decisions, and before she goes through with any of them, there's two people that she wants to talk to, and one of those people has been invited over this evening as Cammy sets out a lovely array of Greek. Yeah, she wants Greek food tonight. So yeah, we start our scene with Cammy essentially looking at the various containers of food and scratching the back of her head, knowing that really the only thing she's probably going to eat is the baklava and possibly just spoon eat the feta cheese out of the feta cheese container. She hasn't decided. She hasn't committed to anything yet.
She hasn't actually started spooning, is what you're saying?
She hasn't actually started spooning yet. No.
Okay. Rebekah is on time. She has made her way through the rain and the increasingly cool nights. Cammy gets a text that says, "I'm here," as she hits the entrance downstairs, and then she plods her way upstairs. It's familiar territory now. Kind of shaking out her umbrella discreetly where she is pretty sure she won't leave puddles.
Well, for a change, the door is open when she gets up to the top floor, as if somebody had opened it in anticipation of her getting here.
She reaches out and nudges it open without, like, she doesn't. She actually kind of steps to the side of the door and nudges it open because it's unusual and she has reason to be wary of unusual things these days. So she kind of gives it kind of a suspicious nudge, but if nothing explodes or slices there where her face might be if she were unsuspicious, she heads in. Cammy?
Well, as she comes in and she calls out, Kim kind of pops up from behind the center island as she was looking for some plates, and she sets them down and she kind of smiles. She's kind of got her hair kind of pulled up into a loose ponytail today, and she'll just kind of smile.
Hello?
So, how's it going?
It smells like food in here. Are you alright?
Must confess that no, I am not. I have actually been possessed by a spirit of goodwill.
Is is that an is that a thing?
No.
Is that an okay.
I don't, well, no.
Maybe it's a thing?
Maybe sort of, I don't know. Never really thought about it. I'm sure, maybe?
Huh.
Oh, she'll shrug.
Rebekah also shrugs and starts pulling her coat off glances around. Is there a place I can put this and not drip on everything?
She'll kind of gesture to the standing coat rack.
Mhm.
Like one of those old ones, a little bit blocky.
She
But
hangs,
looking around, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
she hangs it up, but then she's going to go over and offer Cammy a hug.
While she does that, if she did take a look around, she'd probably notice the number of boxes that are currently stacked up, and some of them open, some of them taped up, some of them labeled.
Oh, like moving boxes, not like food boxes.
Yeah,
Okay. Did you get a new place?
in a sense.
Well, are we celebrating? You should have told me. I would have brought something.
Yeah. She'll kind of rub the back of her head. Wine?
No, thanks.
I don't know what adults drink. Like real adults, not like 20 somethings playing at being an adult.
Well, wine is a good guess. That's solid adult food. But I don't drink.
Fair enough. And she'll kind of gesture over to the center island where there's a number of there's like 3 or 4 main entrees of Greek food, and then there is like 4 boxes of baklava and like 1 big container of feta cheese.
Ooh. She heads over and starts assembling plates. A lot of Greek food kind of seems to need a lot of assembly.
Yes.
And it's very different before and after assembly. She starts doing that.
Yeah, once Rebekah has her plate, Cammy just decides better of it and literally pours like half of what's left in the feta cheese thing into a bowl and pulls out a spoon and hops up on the counter.
What are you doing right now?
She puts a spoonful in her mouth and pulls her hand away and kind of gestures with the bowl and the spoon. What? What?
Hmm.
She'll swallow it down. Am I not allowed to like goat cheese?
No, everybody's allowed to like goat cheese. I highly recommend goat cheese, but look at all this food. You're just gonna eat the cheese?
She'll kind of shrug. It's not just for you. It's, I got people coming over later to kind of get my stuff loaded up, and whatever's left is going to go to them, except for that. And she'll kind of gesture over to the baklava. I'm probably going to finish off at least like 75 to 80% of that.
I believe you. I've seen you eat. So where are you going?
Uh, that was something I wanted to talk to you about. It's pretty far away.
What do you mean?
There are people that could really use help. People I've met, people I've made a rapport with, and well, since there's only a handful of people left in the city that I'm on any kind of friendly terms with, I decided to go where I'm useful, where I'm going to be needed.
Oh, and
Uh,
that is?
Place outside of Cape Town. She'll kind of start chewing on her lower lip.
That is quite a ways away. Cape Town. South Africa?
She'll nod.
Whew.
Went there on business a while ago. I think
I
I mentioned
remember.
it to you. Yeah. People out
That's a
there that,
very long way away.
at least this time, I'm not going in by boat. I'm not going on an impromptu shark fishing expedition.
What?
Oh yeah, we had to kill some sharks on the way in the last time I went.
You had to kill some sharks. That's
They
not
were
usually
trying
part of.
they were trying to eat the boat we were on.
Uh,
Don't ever trust a shark, Rebekah.
well, I promise never to trust a shark. I haven't before, but I won't start now.
Stay out of the water around the island as well.
Around the island?
This island, they're out there.
The sharks.
She'll nod. She takes another spoonful.
Is this a. Are you joking with me, or is this a thing? And when she says thing, she gives like the most obvious of like, wink, 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 wink thing.
You want a peony, Cam?
Yes, she does. What dice roll are we in?
We're in dice roller 1.
That's not the right. Okay.
And I did a thing.
Two successes.
She's telling you the truth. It's probably a thing.
Huh. Sharks. Okay.
Really, they don't like anything that doesn't swim naturally, that isn't part of swimming. So yeah, don't ever go in there.
I wish I could ask for the tail. I won't, but I wish I could. I am intrigued.
The abbreviated part of it is parachutes, a boat, a Second Amendment right enthusiast, and a bazooka were involved. She's telling the truth.
I just can't imagine you with the bazooka.
I wasn't the one with the bazooka. That's
Or
a
a
little.
parachute.
That's not so bad.
Huh. Huh.
Cammy is going to roll her peony on Rebekah. One.
Rebekah looks like she just has never even tried to imagine Cammy with a parachute or a bazooka before, and she's trying to fit that in. She is having a difficult time of it. Well, I have friends in South Africa, but I don't visit often.
You really should. It's a beautiful place.
It is a beautiful place. It's Not one of my favorites, but it's a beautiful place. How long are you going for, do you think?
She'll kind of sit back a little bit and look upwards as she thinks. Till the fighting's done, I would imagine.
Rebekah sets her plate down. How long do you think that is? Is this a battle or a war?
I don't know how much Jacob's brought you up to speed on, but pretty much everything we do is kind of a war.
So what you're saying is a very long time. You're expecting to be gone.
Let's see. Manipulation, subterfuge, 6.
Are you lying?
Kind of.
It matters on my difficulty.
It's more of an expression she's trying to hide.
Okay.
So 4 successes. 5 if you think guile would count here.
What's she trying to hide?
A look of apprehension and maybe regret.
I don't feel like guile would help there.
All right then.
What's my merit called? Hang on 1 second. I have to see whether that applies.
Healthy skepticism, I believe.
Kind of feel like it applies here. But we'll find. Nope, she doesn't see it. What is Cammy's answer?
I don't know. There's no real way to say how long it would be. Sort of until the job's done. This is kind of the best case that I could probably give you.
Well,
Most realistic answer, anyway.
I will certainly miss having you close. At least it's not the end of the earth, but I will certainly miss having you close.
Yeah, I don't even think that begins to explain how it is for me. If I could, I'd take you with me.
Oh no. I can't think of a single thing on earth that would make me move to South Africa. This is. You said. We. This is a thing for your people.
Some of them. I have some adoptive family out there. I have 1 or 2 friends that are already making their way there. I held back to get some affairs in order here.
So you won't be alone.
I'm not going to be with people like I was here, but no, I won't be alone.
She nods. Good. I'm glad to hear it. I hope you will make a point of not being alone.
Well, the last time I went there, it was kind of ramshackle, so not much in the way of privacy.
Good. That will be good for you. It will certainly take some getting used to, but it will be good for you. I imagine I imagine you'll find ways to make the tech work to your satisfaction.
One of the conditions of me going.
She nods.
She'll set the bowl down and she'll hop off of the counter. I wanted to give you something before I left.
You're leaving tonight?
I'm gonna see one more person and then, yeah, I'm gone.
Camille. This is not a proper goodbye.
She looks like she's sort of a deer in the headlights on this one.
Well, I'll have plenty of time to scold you in the future. I'm ready for my present.
She'll go over to the telltale satchel of hers. She'll open it up, and I think at this point she's not too worried about the fact that what she pulls out of the bag is just disproportionate to the size of the bag.
Okay. Okay.
So she's kind of Mary Poppinsing this shit.
Okay.
As she pulls out a pretty large box. It's kind of a flat box, but it's like a large rectangle. And a smaller box, probably about the size of a shoebox. But they've definitely got emblazoned logos of some kind of company on the side of them.
Okay. Rebekah is as Cammie's pulling the boxes out, Rebekah stood up, and she kind of pauses when she sees the size of the shit that Cammie's pulling out of her bag. Like she's never seen a spider satchel used before.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still a bit like the fuck. She should roll for that. She'll roll for that. Oh yeah, everything's fine. That's fine. And when Cammie turns back around to presumably give them to her, Rebekah's standing there with an arm out, like, come hug me.
Cammie will walk over and she'll set things down on the countertop, and she'll really grab a hold of Rebekah and sort of squeeze her as hard as her. What did she end with? That was the last buy I had on her. With all the bit of 2 strength can muster.
Glasswalkers.
Fey urges. Hey, I was almost at the 3-3-3 spread, okay? I was almost there.
It's fair. It's fair. Yeah, Rebekah hugs her back super tight. If you ever need me to visit, I don't mind a plane trip.
If I can get away and get back into the city, definitely.
I will admit I am a city girl. I don't speak Afrikaans.
I don't think you would appreciate too much living in the periphery of a secret society war zone. So yeah, city sounds pretty good.
No, I don't really have much desire to return to that sort of thing.
Yeah. So definitely Cape Town, definitely at a resort, definitely not during peak tourist season.
I don't mind peak tourist season. I don't have a problem with that.
Well, peak tourist season seems to mind me, if you catch my meaning.
That's extremely fair and a very good point. Duly noted. Well, let me know. I'll come visit.
She'll smile.
And I will still have email.
Well, that's kind of part of what I decided to kind of spend the last of my New York money on.
She blinks. She blinks several times.
And she'll go to the smaller of the two boxes first. It's like this black embossed box, and she'll open it up. And inside there's like one of those padded cases. It's kind of got like the plastic outside,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a plastic shell sort of thing. It's an equipment case.
Mm-hmm.
She'll pull it out, and she'll open it up, and inside is a satellite phone.
She blinks.
I'm not going to have a whole lot of cell phone usage where I'm going to be at, so this makes things a little easier.
Is she giving the satellite phone to Rebekah?
Yeah.
Doesn't she need the sat phone?
Where she's going, she'll be plenty well equipped.
But, sorry, maybe I don't know enough about sat phones. Do they just connect to each other?
They're kind of like no matter where you are, you can get a signal.
Okay. She just kind of starts to laugh and says, I'll still have reception.
Yeah.
But she looks pretty fascinated.
Sometimes you may need a phone that, you know, you may need to call wherever you. I don't know. It literally left over in the equipment that I had. So
Well, this is fascinating. Am I going to be able to use this, or is it hard?
can you punch numbers in?
Mm-hmm.
You should be fine. My number's already programmed in there.
She reaches over and gives her another hug.
Cammy will pat her on the back, just kind of chuckling to herself. Just thinking of, man, adult technophobia as a thing.
Well, thank
And,
you. This is a very strange gift.
well, yeah, I guess it is, technically. Just something on here that something here that needs a home.
Does she
I
know
hate
it's...
wasting techs. I hate wasting tech, so. And if it ever comes down to it, you can always just hawk it. If you ever need the money, we'll probably fetch you at least $250.
No, I'll give it a home.
And then she'll look over at the other box, which has a much swazzier look to it.
They're both for me?
Mm-hmm. That one's just kind of like a cherry on the top. Like, I'm not going to say it's a re-gift because I technically bought it, but I never had a reason to use it, and I had two, and it was kind of meant for like a global network thing that never really panned out. So
She's staring now with some curiosity.
I told you that I wanted to hold the world in the palm of my hand. This was sort of one of like 153 plans I had.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least it was a component to like 6 of those.
I assume you haven't given up on those plans.
I haven't.
I assume
Just
that this move is part of some of them. Yes? Not a distraction?
um it could technically be both. Or it has the potential to be both. This is more the people I were close to, they're gone. And I'm on my own again, and you know how poorly I do.
I do. You did very
So
well once, though, and I have every confidence that you will do so again. Whether it's here or in South Africa.
and maybe a little bit in Australia too, but I don't know about that yet.
She doesn't say anything.
But this is a personalized gift from me. It took me 2 weeks to put this together.
You've known for 2 weeks. I'm not going to yell at you.
And she'll open it up.
Mhm.
And inside is a top-of-the-line laptop bag, a top-of-the-line wireless headset, and a top-of-the-line uh, top-of-the-line laptop.
Rebekah's going to reach out to take it if it's offered.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of run her fingers over it thoughtfully. And then try and open it up and turn it on.
Turns on. Already pre-programmed for ease of use for somebody who is mildly technologically deficient.
What should I know about it?
Well, if you should ever get into graphic or web design, computer animation, computer programming, or if you're interested in gaming, or if you ever want to try and siphon passwords, if you ever sort of take your proficiency to that level, kind of wiggle her fingers. It's got 2 graphic units inside, so you can do pretty much anything with this thing. That's why it's a little bit bulkier than your average notebook.
She nods.
And if nothing else, you can watch Netflix and Amazon Prime in the highest resolution possible on a laptop.
Can I run my security cameras on it?
Yes.
She nods. And it will always feel like there's a friend in the room.
You didn't notice? And she'll kind of point to the logo on the top of the laptop. and
She
it's
turns
just
blue.
it's an electric blue cockroach.
Oh. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, for heaven's sakes. That's lovely.
That's actually what took the longest amount of time for this whole thing. I actually put this together in less than like 4 hours. It was getting that particular piece made.
There's a bug on my computer forever.
Technically, you could say, yeah, there's a bug in the system.
Oh
Not
my
sorry, by
goodness.
the way.
Rek is ignoring you. She's ignoring your pun. Just ignoring it. Straight up ignoring it. Otherwise, we're rolling initiative. Just kidding. Rebekah would lose. This is beautiful. Thank you. I
You're most
will
welcome.
use it to keep in touch with you because I'm assuming that that's the goal. Yes?
As much as I can be.
Cammy, you're not running away. You're running to something, you promise?
Not that I'm trying to run away. It's you've by now you know by now how dangerous our world can be. Specifically my people's world.
I know it's dangerous for us. I've
I
heard
don't
you say that it's dangerous, and I believe you.
we're always at war. We've been at war in this city. The wars that we've fought. Things that have turned up on the news. And while we're not the biggest noisemakers in the community, our wars have been just as big as a Zeppelin crashing into Staten Island, so to speak.
Do you know something about that?
Oddly enough, no, I don't. The one thing I don't know about.
She nods. Well, I hope you'll keep me updated.
I'll try. It's literally the best I can offer just because of virtue of where we're going.
I understand.
But we're going to help a lot of very disadvantaged people.
With
People who have
tooth and
been.
claw.
You have no idea how right you are.
I don't. Which
There's more
I
than
am grateful for.
a smile. On the plus side, I'll be getting to know a diversity that's kind of like my ilk, but not necessarily.
Hmm.
Which is going to be fun and interesting and terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
I
It will
ever
be.
if I ever text you in the middle of the night, or what might be my night or your night, I don't know, and I'm too excited to speak in words. Means I'll finally have met a dragon.
Oh. Dragons. That sounds very exciting.
She looks kind of wistful at that. And just a big grin on her face. There's a lot of things out there that hold different shapes. You son of a bitch. I see him. He's not watching, but I see him. He has no idea what the context is, and he's just being that way.
Well, if you find it's the middle of the night and you're tired and you don't understand why people seem awful, you can call me. You'll find that diversity is exhausting. The things that you take for granted just don't work. And all of your assumptions
Don't
are
count
wrong.
for a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's something that I have to actively work on.
You will. There's no way to prepare yourself. You'll be tired a lot. Just don't be afraid to ask questions. And say, explain it to me. And tell me about the consequences. Because there's no way for you to know about the dangers you don't know about.
She'll nod. It's good advice. You've always been good for that.
Well, I still will be. There's a mad lag. But I'm only a phone call away.
She'll nod.
This world is connected. My goodness, South Africa. That is a very long way away.
Last time I went in a cargo plane. At least this time I'm going in a little bit better style.
Ooh, a cargo plane. Oh, Cammy, that sounds awful. That's a
It was
very long
cold.
flight.
It was cold and the seats were uncomfortable.
I imagine people get fussed on commercial flights.
Putting someone like me in a big metal tube with random regular people, yeah, not so good.
She stares just a little bit wide-eyed because she hadn't really considered that, but just nods.
There's a reason why I don't ride the subway.
Yeah. That's wise.
Don't need to hear about a bear attack on the subway.
No.
God, at least I would hope that they would say bear.
Bears. Bears on the subway.
Yeah.
Pitbull is probably a little more easy to believe. She says, having never seen a Kreenos.
Believe me, she's tempted, but out of character, I don't know. That's a great idea.
It's not.
Yeah. The only person she's shown it to has been MJ, Amber. So she she reaches out for Rebekah's hands.
She takes them. Or offers them.
You know, I know there are certain ways that you view you've been everything that I've needed when the nights got darkest. And you watched over me as well as any member of my family ever has.
Oof.
Say that I love you wouldn't even really do it justice. And then getting to know you, it made me be less of a shitty person.
You are not a shitty person. But it's always good for all of us to be less of a shitty person, even if we're not shitty people. I'm worried about you.
I know. And I'd be lying to you if I said that everything's going to be okay.
I know.
But at the very least, I can promise you that I'm not the kind of person to lay down and die.
Good.
And even though it's going to be extremely dangerous, that I will do everything I can to make sure that you still have your bug lady friend years and years from now.
Good. I'll take good care of both of these. And there will always be a place for you here when you're ready to come back. Bug lady friend.
And she's gonna, just kind of lean forward again and wrap Rebekah up.
Mm-hmm. She hugs her back tightly and just kind of holds her. Don't think of it as goodbye. You're not allowed to disappear on me. Keep in touch.
If in 10 years you're still around here on my birthday, show up to that internet cafe.
I will, if it's still an internet cafe. But you keep in touch, young lady. I will need your help with this monstrosity. And probably other things as well.
You know how to use Skype, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't want to assume.
What'd you say?
Didn't want to assume.
She grins. It's fair. You've been teaching me. I've been getting better.
You have.
I'm gonna need it if you're leaving.
Yeah. Seriously, though. Keep learning.
I will. You too.
As long as I can.
If you ever think you can't, I hope you'll call me. You're still
Even
a
if I
person.
can. Even if I can, I'll probably still end up calling you when I can.
Good. Excellent. That is what I like to hear.
And if you ever need anything, and for some reason you can't call me or I can't call you, there's a Reddit board which I visit quite a bit.
She nods.
And she writes down the Leet speak version of Night Owl.
Okay. Rebekah nods and tucks that into her pocket.
I'm trusting you with that name.
It's a secret.
You're the only person outside of my own people that know it.
She nods and then she's going to take the paper back out of her pocket and pull a pen out of her purse. And she writes something down in Arabic and rips the word night owl off of the piece of paper and then eats it.
Kimmy's gonna grab a bottle of water and hand it to her.
Thank you, she says, and swigs it. Ugh. Ugh. It's never better. Every time it's a bad idea.
There are sometimes I do wonder if you're not one of our lost people.
Oh no, there's a fly in my drink. That's out of character.
I was about to be like, what?
There's a fly in my nice drink. Anyway,
Well, you know,
she just
protein.
laughs. She says, I am definitely not a wolf person.
I know. I know.
But you're not the only ones with struggles.
I know, I'm just saying, you're very well informed. And that's something my people can respect if you were one of us. Not so fond of it when they're not one of us, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I worry occasionally. I've heard that about your people.
If you are if you're in the know as far as Jacob bringing you into the know, I have to imagine that he's at least told you how severe the consequences can be.
Her brows raise. No, he hasn't.
Then can I give you a bit of advice?
She licks her lips and picks up her plate again, like kind of turns back to the kitchen, wanders back to pick up her plate, and wanders back in just to give herself time to take some deep breaths. Yes, please.
Be careful about what you learn about others, not just us. I don't feel I'm betraying anything in telling you that people have and people will continue to be killed for dangerous breaches of security.
Breaches.
A modern term, but leaks, discoveries, that sort of thing.
She nods. Kind of slowly.
And I don't pretend to know what you are and what your end goal is. But from everything that I've seen, I would gather to think that you're probably not as hardy as we are.
I'm certainly not a. She kind of stares at her, like, I think there's some confusion here. Definitely not up to, Is werewolf pejorative?
It's it's an acceptable term even within our people's circle.
Okay, well, I'm definitely not up to werewolf standards. I do work out, but reluctantly. And I
Well,
don't think I've ever bit anybody. Like, ever.
to be fair, I've never bit anybody either.
You've never bit anybody?
She thinks back on it. Nope.
I thought wolves bit people. I mean, I guess not people, but when they. Don't tell me.
Crosses her arms and just looks at Rebekah with this. It's just, I don't even know if to say that it's a shit-eating grin, but maybe slightly a self-satisfied one, just because reasons. Here Rebekah is generalizing. But she has a playful look in her eye.
Rebekah's, well, yeah, anyway, she's her innocence, well, I guess her innocence too. Her ignorance is exposed and it's making her uncomfortable. So she just kind of Just waves a hand like, never mind, never mind. Anyway,
Evens. Okay, then.
What's that?
Cammy still got her... I don't know if Cammy still got her by the hand, does she?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Cammy will sort of gesture out with a hand outstretched.
Yeah, she'll give her hand back.
And she'll sort of put Rebekah's hand palm up.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'll lay the back of her hand on top of Rebekah's.
Mm-hmm.
And she takes the time and she'll spend the willpower point for it. And she doesn't do anything overtly flashy because showing war forms and things like that, that is what it is. But Rebekah knows that Cammy's a werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
So Cammy's not afraid of going at least in a little bit to the superstition territory.
Mm-hmm.
As you hear the bones in her fingers and knuckles crack.
Mm-hmm.
And on her left hand, which she's given, she grows a set of glabro claws.
Oh.
You forgot the hashtag?
Oh.
You typed that up way too fast. It's like you've been waiting for this. I'll roll to see if I can get anything with that or not.
Oh, snap. Does your 10 explode?
They don't.
Mine doesn't either. But I will say that, like, for all that she looks like she's not just gonna climb out the window, she does actually, like, lift her other hand up to her mouth and, like, bite her own knuckle as, like, the sound of the fucking, like, bones breaking and shit. And she just kind of stares. Yeah. She doesn't say anything because her knuckle's in her mouth.
I'm not particularly good with these. They help a lot with digging, though. And they really help when you got an itch to scratch.
She looks up with very wide eyes. That doesn't seem like helpful when you have an itch to scratch. It seems just awful. And her face says it. She takes her knuckle out of her mouth and very carefully holding her, no, she would have, when the claws were done growing, once Cammy stopped, like, once things stopped moving around, she probably would have gripped Cammy's hand pretty hard, like, the back of it.
How much strength does Rebekah have?
2.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's not painful or anything.
Okay.
2? Yeah, 2.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah.
And she says, you almost can't hear her, but she says, bet it makes it hard to type.
Cammy lets out a belly laugh. It's very abrupt. But it is a belly laugh that I won't repeat for sake of my roommate. So, and the neighbors. But Cammy just starts laughing, and she laughs to the point where she actually cries just a little bit. It has to actually take a few breaths to actually calm herself down.
So Rebekah's going to take, while Cammy's laughing hysterically, Rebekah's going to take Cammy's hand in both of her hands so she can kind of press her palm against Cammy's palm and make sure that hand, like those claws, don't go anywhere. She just kind of holds Cammy's hand between her two hands, just real gentle, real ginger, and watches her laugh, looking kind of pleased with herself.
Cammy will just, after she calms down, she'll look at the hands, and just her smile becomes warm. These guys aren't too terribly dangerous, so don't worry. They can get worse, but these
Oh,
are.
good heaven.
Jacob's never shown you?
She kind of looks at her like, are you fucking kidding me? No. No. Cammy, he's never showed me. I know you have secrets. All of you. I know you have secrets, and I know that it's dangerous for me to know. A wizard told me almost everything I know about your people.
Cammy's expression changes slightly, and despite her best efforts to hide it, her face becomes a bit more grave. Wasn't the hugger, was it?
No. Oh, the poor hugger. She doesn't know anything. She barely knows how to wizard.
Oh, good. That's one less pit stop I need to make.
Becca, like, she actually, like, so her palm is against Cammy's palm, and she actually, like, moves her hand up to, like, twine her fingers with Cammy's, and looks her in the eye and goes, "You weren't serious, right?"
No.
Good. And she gives her hand a squeeze and then lets it go. She's a very nice young lady with enough to worry about.
When she was hugging me, the thought crossed my mind.
I couldn't believe she hugged you either. I mean, no offense, but
If I were anything else, I would take offense, but I understand how you mean. So it's fine.
good. Anyway, no, this is, fortunately for me, I think, the first time I've ever seen this. Any of that.
Tell
And
you, it
hopefully...
hurts
It
like
hurts?
hell. Well,
Oh no.
doing them like this, it hurts.
Well, put it back until it doesn't hurt.
Well, it doesn't hurt now, but doing it halfway sucks. It's hard.
It sounds like it sucks. It sounded awful.
You know, I'm almost tempted to show you how. Almost tempted.
She just shakes her head.
Actually, a lot tempted, but I don't know what you would do, to be honest. I don't want to have to be splashing water on your face in like 10 minutes.
I'm not a fainter.
You sure about that?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Cammy will cross her arms at that.
Just a sec. Sorry, out of character. I'll be right back. 2 seconds.
Mhm.
Sorry about that. Rebekah sits back with a kind of a complicated look on her face and just like shakes her head very slowly. Don't tempt me.
Don't tempt you, huh?
Mm-hmm. I've been extremely well behaved, not asking questions. I'm a very curious person, and I've been extremely well behaved.
How curious are you, Rebekah?
And she's looking at her like the expression in her overlay.
Mm-hmm. Cammy is turmoil right now. Just inside. So much.
Rebecca's watching her expression. Um, Pretty intently, and she says, I'm not curious enough to get either of us, to put either of us in danger. Let me rephrase that. I'm not curious enough to put either of us in danger frivolously. If it was important, she shrugs.
It could be important for me.
What could be important?
Trust.
You're gonna have to unpack that a little bit.
She'll shrug as she walks over to her windows and pulls the blinds.
You're gonna have to unpack that before you start doing anything that one of us might regret. I do trust you. You don't have to break bones to. prove to me that I can trust you.
It's more of a me thing, really.
You're proving that you can trust me?
Proving that I can allow myself to trust someone.
Cammy, trust doesn't work like that. It's not an all or none game. That's important for you to know. You can trust anybody with some things. The better you know them, the better you can trust them.
I say I know you pretty well.
There might not be anybody you can trust with everything.
I didn't say trust you with everything.
I probably won't faint. But if it's worse than that, does Cammy still have her Glabro claws out?
I think by now, like, she's retracted them just because she doesn't like being half shifted.
Mm-hmm.
I've always felt that it feels weird for Gar.
If it's worse than that, and she kind of points at Cammy's hands, I might have trouble keeping my composure. I'm going to be very honest with you.
So something less imposing? Maybe something... Tell you what. Close your eyes.
She licks her lips and says, "All right. One moment." And she stands up, kind of shakes herself off, and then she looks around for some place she can put her back up against something. Like sitting on the couch, maybe, or somewhere she can sit with her back up against something.
Seems fair and smart.
So she
One of the
sits
old
down.
plush chairs, I'm sure, would be a good place to go.
Well, something with a wall behind it, not like a chair in the middle of the room. Like she wants a wall behind her. She
Okay.
genuinely is not sure how she's going to react to this, and just needs some security. So she sits down with her back, like she sits down on the couch, and she crosses her arms like under her breasts and tucks her hands into her armpits. Okay. She closes her eyes.
And Cammy will reach out and just put a hand on top of Rebekah's.
But if I freak out, it's not because I don't love you. I'm a cat person.
I understand. And if you freak out, I will be as gentle as I possibly can be.
Where did she put her hand?
It's on, like, just resting on top of Rebekah. She's not even, like, gripping. It's just, like, laid atop there.
Oh, Rebekah put her hands in her armpits.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so Rebekah's knee,
Sure.
shoulder, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. She waits for Rebekah to close her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And then she is going to spend a point of rage. And she pulls her hand away just as the shift begins to happen. Mm-hmm. And after a couple of seconds, Rebecca's going to feel something hop up onto the couch next to her.
At
And
the sound
then
of like
plop down.
bones cracking and shit.
Mhm.
She screws up her face pretty hard, like, oh god.
And then she's just going to feel something very warm and soft laying down on her lap.
Is it safe to open my eyes?
Cammy cannot verbally respond.
Cammy didn't think this through. Rebecca's eyes stay closed. She just kind of
Cammy is going
sits
to then just tilt her head up because as a wolf, you have a pretty extensive neck.
there.
Yeah, you know what? I know that she's not a dog person, so Cammy's doing this probably slightly just to be a little bit of a shit.
Uh-huh.
But you know how when a dog's really happy to see you
Mm-hmm.
and you leave your face unguarded?
Oh no.
Mm-hmm. All up and down the cheek and nose and around that area.
Okay, so when she feels something wet and warm suddenly all over her face, she, like, well, let's roll it. Let's see how she does. First, a willpower roll. Did I buy my willpower? I didn't. It's still that. Okay. Oh, barely. This almost went really bad. This almost went really bad.
Roll for grapple and lupus. That means with my mouth.
Gross. Gross. So she doesn't scream. She, goes like that. And, like, her arms lift. I gotta... Like, her arms lift, and she kind of, like, clutches herself, but she doesn't take her hands out of her armpits. But then she opens her eyes. Is Cammy and Lupus?
Yes.
Well, that's good.
She's on the small side, because she's not particularly tall. So she's not like, you know, your giant timber wolf, but she's for most part black furred wolf with some white underneath, with like powder blue eyes.
Rebekah sits very still and studies her.
Once Rebecca starts looking at her and doesn't scream, there's just that thump, 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 thump of a tail hitting the surface of a couch.
Well, that's a thing that I've seen now. She you can smell the fear on her. Like it's there. But she pulls her hands out of her armpits and clutches them together for a minute, and then she'll reach out and just kind of... She's not a dog person. She just kind of tries to cup, like, Cammy's face with a hand, more like she was human than like she's a dog. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, honey. It's something else entirely to see it.
Cammy offers a wine.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. It's not... It's a little bad. It's not bad.
Just more. Mm.
It's just
Good luck peeing that shit.
Right? I mean, she does have a lot of animal ken. Hang on. She's got as much animal ken as she does empathy.
Oh no! When did you buy that up?
I have 7 cats.
Oh, that's right. Never mind.
Want to roll your manip sub?
Nope, because Cammy was being a shit and just kind of relying on the fact that Rebekah is not a dog person and or a wolf person. So Cammy's whining on purpose.
Huh. You are so sassy.
And there's just that she starts lifting up a paw to be imposing. Or not imposing, but she's invading the purple circle with the paw, as dogs tend to do when they get a little bit rambunctious.
Rambunctious.
As in, like, as if she were trying to say, oh, you have no idea. I have not yet begun to define myself.
She just shakes her head. Well, my goodness. Tonight has been very different than I was expecting. I don't suppose you like actual food and not just cheese when you're looking like that, do you?
She kind of offers like a little bark. So yeah, she'll offer a hearty boof.
I don't speak barking. We can do charades if you want.
And that just earns more pawing at Rebekah. Like pawing on the arm and on the shoulder.
Oh, don't. I don't even know how to begin to translate what you're trying to tell me right now. But that's terrifying.
She'll can her head to one side and then she'll roll over on her back and start doing that thing where she's like rubbing her back and her neck and her head all over Rebekah's
Stop.
lap.
She gets to her
Tongue
feet.
wagging out.
Like she gets to her feet and kind of pushes her off. Like, stop that.
And yeah, once she does that, Cammy will hit the ground, hind end up, or front end down, tail going a mile a minute, head cocked to one side.
No.
And then when Rebekah just doesn't seem to play the game, she'll sit and she'll just go, and then she'll do a wolf sneeze, like.
Should I PK that?
Sure, go for it. Or PAK it.
2 successes.
You're no fun. That's what that signifies. But then she will kind of just paw at the side of Rebekah where she was doing that and just trot on past as she brings to attention all that fall winter coat or that summer coat blowing that she's doing right now when she's in her lupus form.
Mm-hmm.
All that hair. All that shedding fur. Hope you weren't wearing black. She trots into her bedroom to go change back.
Great. I love dogs. That's great. Fabulous.
And she'll shut the door awkwardly. And pulling the blinds down on the glass doors is even more awkward.
Mm-hmm. Very, I imagine.
But she manages to do it. And then when the doors open up again, Cammy comes out and tosses Rebekah a lint roller.
She takes the lint roller and starts rolling herself off. Huh.
If I thought you could handle it, I actually would have given you a brush before we started that.
That would have been a little weird. I don't mind brushing your hair, but brushing your
Coat.
your coat.
It's a
Maybe
bitch and a half right now.
it's hard to think of you as the same person. No offense.
You handled it pretty well, I have to say. But I guess that has been kind of your MO since I've gotten to know you.
And you warned me ahead of time. You licked my face.
I've literally kissed you on the cheek and the forehead before.
It's not the same, Cammy, as licking someone's face.
I will have you know that my mouth is extremely clean.
Well, I will take comfort in that.
Especially in that form. I don't chew.
I'm not
I
going
don't
to take
chew at
comfort
all.
in that. She stands up as she's finished lint rolling herself, and she's going to open out her arms again, because I need to go in 10 minutes.
Okay. So yeah, Cammy will walk forward and give Rebekah that last hug. No matter what happens, I won't forget you.
I certainly won't forget you. Keep in touch.
As often as I can.
She nods. And thank you for the presents. I wish I had something to give you, but I didn't know. I would have found something to remind you to call. Give me a mailing address and I'll send you something.
Don't know if I have one at the moment, but either way, you've given me a present, a gift. And you have from the moment I met you.
Likewise.
Kimmy will give her one more hug.
She hugs her real tight. And then makes small talk for a little while about stuff to bring with her, stuff to make sure she buys before she goes, stuff to stock up on, whatever. Maybe some advice about where to find some of the stuff she doesn't want to stock up on. And it'll be a while before she goes, but eventually she takes herself out into the hall and pulls her jacket back on.
Yeah, Kimmy will actually walk her down to the street.
Mm-hmm. Best of luck to you. I will text you the names of some people and how to get in contact with them. In South Africa.
She'll nod. Take care of yourself, Dr. Albasan.
These aren't people that will be able to handle, werewolf stuff. but
Cammy's just gonna look at her as they were walked down to
actually,
the
no, you're
store.
right. They're outside. She'll say these aren't people that'll be able to. They're just people who don't know anything, but it's good to have contacts. It's always good to have contacts.
I'll keep that in mind.
She nods. Good. Then I will see you around.
Most definitely.
She gives her a smile and one last hug, and then, after squeezing her tight, goes scuttling off into the rain.
And Cammy will stay there until she can't see Rebekah anymore, and I think that's a good place to end the scene. So thank you, players, for playing, and thank you, watchers, for watching.